The next screenshot we have is by Martin Bomber Bradbury, who sent a link from the Daily Blog. He says, quote, "I've seen better attended chemtrail protests than this down with Len Brown March. Personally, I've led those chemtrail protests, and none of them were anywhere near as well attended as this. So, firstly, that's a lie, and secondly, that's a dig against me personally, isn't it? Or at least I interpret it as that."
Well, you probably appreciate that the chemtrail theory is definitely on the outside of the conspiracy theory realm. So I guess it's probably
an attempt to demonise and have some guilt by association for the protesters, to say that basically these Len Brown protesters are even crazier than chemtrail conspiracy theorists.
That is a very good way of summing it up, yes.
Okay.
And the thing is,
Martin Bradbury really is the ultimate bottom feeder of journalism. So I don't really think any of his comments have any validity whatsoever.
Martin Bradbury also said that it was words to the effect that the protest was a joint venture between sort of far-right moral crusaders.
We have those screenshots as well.
Yes,
shall we,
yeah.
Shall we go to the next one then?
Let's go to the next one.
This is actually almost a reiteration of exactly what he just said. The next screenshot is, "I've seen better attended chemtrail, shape-shifting lizard aliens, Conservative Party conventions than this stand-down Len Brown protest. There have never been any shape-shifting lizard alien protests. Not in this country, unless, of course, the shape-shifting reptilian aliens were the ones doing the protest, but nobody knew about it."
Well, I think Bomber must have shapeshifted into a lizard, because I didn't see him there, and he said he's seen better attended. So it's like he's saying that he was actually on the street. He lives in town. He could have, rolled out of bed and put on his Tommy outfit on and turned up. But I'm assuming he was just being a usual slob and sitting behind his computer and being an armchair analyst.
The next screenshot may actually shed some light on the situation. We come to Martin Bradbury at Citizen Bomber from Twitter. Here we have a picture taken from a fairly high up place. It looks almost like it's halfway down Queen Street or something of that nature, fairly high up, looking down on the protest from a building. So he may have just quite literally sat on his armchair, taken this picture, and then pontificated upon it. So let's see what he says. "The total far-left nuts and right-wing moral crusaders boring everyone to death by demanding Len stands down."
Well, there's not one single accurate word in that whatsoever. And considering Martin Bradbury is a total far-left nut, I would be really concerned at seeing what he considers to be a far-left nut.
I mean, if he thinks Penny Bright is the far-left nut he's referring to, I'll defend Penny and say, well, at least she doesn't have a picture of Chairman Mao in her lounge.
Or Che Guevara.
I mean,
and Bomber has both.
I mean, Bomber worships, this is serious, folks, hardcore killers. Some of the worst killers in human history. And Bomber thinks they're nice people. He'll sit around with his kids and eat dinner, looking at them. I mean, this guy is a sick, demented freak. An absolute fat freak, Like, I can't believe anyone would take him seriously. Look, he's got 2 retweets. I mean, this totally useless slob out there on social media, hating on capitalism while he uses the very system to try and spread his ideas of communist death. I just don't know where to start with this loser.
But tell us what you really think, Will.
You don't want to hear what I would think.
He's kind of like New Zealand's version of Mike Moore, only far less successful.
He is a failure, fatter. I don't know, maybe he's not fatter, but he is just disgusting looking. Just everything about them says unachiever, low, just mediocrity. Like, he's democratized himself. Like, he everything about him. I just don't know where to end. I just don't know how any, he should be going out with Bevan Chang or something. I don't know how his wife tolerates him. Like,
I also just want to stick up for Penny Bright at this point as well. I mean, Penny and our politics could not be more polar opposite. However, she works her ass off. She's definitely a woman of integrity, and when she goes on these campaigns about going through the various rules and proper processes of the council, she knows what she's talking about. She's a good bush lawyer. So that's a thumbs up for Penny.
Without a day's legal training in her life, she has managed to defeat the council in court 25 out of 26 times and has accelerated the one time she did lost to the international human rights complaints, I think, at the UN. So yeah, she's not messing around.
You see, unlike the left, who can't give us credit where credit's due, I can give Penny credit too. She is tireless in her efforts to, see justice in terms of how she understands it should be affected. And I don't agree with her analysis on corruption in the city. I don't agree with her positions on government and the role of government. But yeah, just from a point of view of her being a tireless worker and not a slob like Bomber, and actually having some sort of at least being consistent and semi-logical in where she's coming from anyway. She's leaps and bounds ahead of that little Maoist.
And then we move on to the part boring everyone to death. I think we had a pretty entertained bunch of people down Queen Street.
I have the video footage to prove it. There was many cackles to be had.
How about his TV show? Didn't that bore everyone to death? I mean, what happened to that?
He had a TV show?
Oh, he's had several, in fact. First he had the War on News, which is a 15-minute segment that aired twice per week on Triangle Television before he got picked up by Sky Television on a digital channel where he produced at the Triangle TV studios Citizen A, which was to be a show focused on Auckland. However, it kind of started to branch out because there's only just so much news that Auckland come up with. And the list of guests and what have you never included Penny Bright, never included myself, usually only would include people that were really high up in the council or people who were already in the mainstream media as well. You can make what you wish of the implications of his choice of guests.
Well, he's a media whore. He's someone who, because he's a bottom feeder down in the drain himself, he needs to try and climb on the back of people who have actually made something of themselves by, honest means or by deceit, like Lynn Brown. And he has to just try and climb up the so-called ladder and gain credibility. He doesn't have any credibility. This slob hasn't said anything that makes logical sense in his life. And I guess the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money, and that he must have lost advertisers or people not wanting to be associated with sponsoring this freak at Sky. So he's lost his show. I don't know why exactly. I could find out.
Incidentally, on a side note, Hell Pizza did a advertising campaign for their new brownies, and the billboard said, "At least our brownies won't eat your dog." Now, to somebody with a sense of humour, that's actually kind of clever and kind of funny. But of course there is a racial element there. Now, Bomber led the protest against Hell Pizza as a result of this billboard advertising and got them to remove it. Not a few months later, guess who was sponsoring the Bomber Bradbury's TV show? Hell Pizza, devilishly delicious.
Oh, wow.
Really? Why would they sponsor someone who'd taken them... See, the thing is, this guy doesn't actually believe in freedom of speech either. And that proves that advertising is freedom of speech. You're allowed to...
I'm willing to bet that there's been more people blocked from his Facebook page than actual Facebook friends he has.
He has a Maoist elite of... just people like Kerwin and Tane and just the freaks of the city. Just the absolute, the scum floats to the top, and occasionally they get in a position of power, and then they get flushed down the drain again, and then they keep trying to bob up, and this is him just bobbing up again.
Shall we go on to the next screenshot?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, because I mean, we could talk about what a wanker Bomber Bradbury is for.
Which reminds me. I need to do a 3-hour show with Bomber's enemies about this because it's actually quite important for New Zealanders to realise the truth about him, and I'll leave it there.